Hello students, I am Manoj Kundare, the Assistant Professor of Electronic Science. Welcome back to our e-learning platform. In previous video, we were studied the types of the communication system, in which we studied the analog and digital communication system, baseband and broadband communication system, and simplex and duplex communication system. The link of the previous video is available in the description box. Please check it. Now let's see a short summary about a simplex and duplex communication system. The simplex communication system is also called as the one-way communication system. That means in simplex communication system, the data can be transferred in only one direction. Here is a diagram of simplex communication system is shown, in which a data is transferred from A to B only. There is no transmission of data from B to A. The examples of the simplex communication system are the radio broadcasting, TV broadcasting, etc. Now let's see the duplex communication system. The duplex communication system means the data can be flow in both ways. Depending upon this data flow, the duplex communication system also divided into two types. First one is half duplex and second one is full duplex. Let's see what is meant by half duplex. In half duplex communication system, the data can be either sent or receive at a time. These both process cannot happen at the same time. Here the diagram of the duplex communication system shows, in which a data can be transferred from A to B. After the completion of this data, the data will be transferred from B to A. The examples of the half duplex communication system is the walkie-talkie device used in military purposes. Now the next types of the full duplex duplex communication system is full duplex communication system. In this communication system, the data can be sent and received at the same time. The examples here is the diagram of the full duplex communication system, which shows the data can be sent and received at the same time from A to B and from B to A. The examples of the full duplex communication system is our normal telephone or cell phone. Now let's see today's topic, the data transmission. The data transmission means the transfer of the data in the form of bits between two or more digital devices. The transformation of data from one device to the another device is called as the data transmission. There are mainly two types of data transmission. First one is parallel data transmission and second one is serial data transmission. The serial data transmission further divided into two types: synchronous data transmission and asynchronous data transmission. Let's see the details about each data transmission type one by one. Our first transmission is the parallel transmission. As the name implies, the data is transmitted parallelly. What actually happens in this type? Let's see. In parallel data transmission, all the bits of a byte are transmitted simultaneously on separate lines. That means here are the two devices are shown. First one is sending devices. In other words, we can also call it as a transmitter. And a receiving device is shown, which is also called as a receiver. Here is a transmitter and receiver is shown. The transmitter transmits a data byte by a parallel lines. That means this data byte 01101011 is transmitted towards the receiver through the 8 separate data lines. Okay, this type of transmission is called as a parallel data transmission. What happens in this parallel data transmission? Let's see. In parallel data transmission, multiple lines or multiple wires are required. That means these lines are also called as the wires. Next, parallel data transmission is possible only in short distance communication only. That means the parallel data transmission can be possible in only short distance. For example, if we want to communicate with a person which is situated in Delhi and we are at Mumbai, then it is impossible to communicate with that person which is in Delhi with the parallel data lines, because we require to transmit 1 byte 8 data lines, 8 wires connected from Mumbai to Delhi. Practically it is impossible. Hence the parallel data transmission is not possible in the long distance communication. It is only possible in the short distance communication. For example, parallel transmission takes place between a computer and its printer. The parallel data transmission takes place between the computer and the printer. Now let's see the advantages of the parallel data transmission. In this type of transmission, all the bits are transmitted simultaneously at the same time. Hence, the total time required for the transmission is very less. For 8-bit data transmission, only one clock cycle is required. Due to this, the clock frequency can be kept low. As we seen that the transmitter can transmit data through the parallel data wires, hence an 8-bit data can be transferred. Hence the 8-bit data can be transferred in only one clock cycle. Okay, when one clock cycle is appear, then this data is transferred at the same time towards the receiver. This is the main advantage of this parallel data transmission. In this transmission, the time required is very less. Now let's see the disadvantages of the parallel data transmission. To transmit an n-bit word, we need n number of wires. That means if we want to transmit a 16-bit word, then we require 16 wires or 16 lines. As we increase the size of bits, we also need to increase the wires or the lines for the communication. Hence, it is the main disadvantage of this parallel data transmission that to transmit an n-bit word, we need n number of wires. With increase in the number of users, the number of wires increase and it becomes impossible to handle them. This is the type of transmission. This type of transmission is not possible in long distance communication. This statement is already seen previously. Now let's see what is meant by serial data transmission. It is very simple that in parallel data transmission, data is transmitted parallelly through the multiple lines or multiple wires. But in serial data transmission, the data can be transmitted in only a single wire or in a single line. Let's see what is meant by serial data transmission. In serial data transmission, all the bits of a byte are transmitted one by one on a single data line. That means this transmitter has some data which is transmitted towards the receiver through a single data line by the one by one manner. The other details of the serial data transmission is the byte to be transmitted is first stored in the shift register. The shift register is a digital device or a digital circuit which is used for the storage purpose. Then the bits stored in the shift registers, these bits are shifted from MSB to LSB bit by bit in synchronization with the clock. For serial transmission, only one wire or line is needed between transmitter and the receiver. Hence, long distance communication is possible in serial data transmission. In parallel data transmission, we see the examples of a person which is situated in Delhi and we are at Mumbai. Hence, in this type of example, we cannot use a parallel data transmission because we requires a multiple lines or wires for the communication. But if we use the serial data transmission, then only a single wire or line is need to be connected between Delhi and Mumbai. Hence, for the long distance communication, the serial data transmission is suitable. The practical serial data transmission setup is shown here. Here is a transmitter block and the receiver block. In above figure, the transmitter and receiver both are the computers. That means this transmitter is a computer and this receiver is also a computer. Since the communication within the computer is parallel, it is necessary to convert the parallel data into serial one at the transmitter. At the receiver, the serial to parallel conversion is required to be performed. That means if we want to communicate between the two computers, we require parallel to serial converter and serial to parallel converter. Let's see the actual process happening in this diagram. What happens in this type of diagram? This is a computer and the computer uses the parallel data transmission technique. Hence, the data is available here in parallel mode. So, a parallel to serial converter is required which converts this parallel data into the serial one. The serial data is transmitted through a single line or single wire towards the receiver which is also a computer, and this computer also works on the parallel data transmission. Hence, there is need to convert this serial data into parallel one. Hence, the serial to parallel data converter is needed here. This is the actual process in the serial data transmission. The advantages of the serial data transmission is as shown in here. Only one wire or line is required for the transmission. Reduction in cost due to less number of wires are used. In parallel data transmission, the multiple wires are used, hence the cost is high. In serial data transmission, only a single wire or single line is used, hence the cost is low. The third advantage is long distance communication is possible. The disadvantages of the serial data transmission are the speed of data transfer is very slow as only one bit sent at a time. To transmit 8-bit data through the parallel transmission, only one clock cycle is required, while to transmit 8-bit data through a serial transmission, 8 clock cycles are required. Because in parallel data transmission, the parallel lines or multiple wires are available. In one clock cycle, the 8 bits data are transferred completely. But in serial communication, the data is sent one by one. Hence, for 1 bit, it requires 1 cycle. For 2 bits, it requires 2 clock cycle. For 8 bits, it requires 8 clock cycles. Hence, the data transfer is very low in serial data transmission. To increase the speed of data transfer, it is necessary to increase the clock frequency. Now, there are two types of serial data transmission. First one is asynchronous data transmission and second one is synchronous data transmission. Let's see what is meant by asynchronous data transmission and synchronous data transmission. The first one is asynchronous data transmission. In asynchronous data transmission, the transmitter can begin the transmission of the data bytes at any instant of time. Only one byte is sent at a time. After sending one byte, the next byte can be sent after an arbitrary time delay. The transmitter and the receiver can operate at different clock frequencies. There is no synchronization between the transmitter and the receiver. Let's see once again. In asynchronous data transmission, the transmitter can begin the transmission of the data bytes at any instant of time. That means in this type of transmission, the data can be transferred at any instant of time, at any time. Only one byte is sent at a time. After sending one byte, the next byte can be sent after an arbitrary time delay. That means in this type of transmission, if one byte is sent, then there is some time delay, and after this time delay the another byte can be sent. The transmitter and receiver can operate at different clock frequencies. That means there is not necessary to have the same clock frequency for that transmitter and the receiver. That means there is no synchronization between the transmitter and the receiver. Here is the diagram for the data transmission is shown, or the format of data transmission is shown. Here is a start bit is shown which is 0, stop bit is shown which is 1, and a data byte is shown. That means a data byte is placed between a start bit and stop bit. Here is a 1 data byte which is transferred. After transmission of 1 data byte, there is some time delay, and after this time delay the another data type is sent. I hope you all understand the asynchronous data transmission. Let's see the other details about the asynchronous data transmission. As the data transmission can commence at any instant of time, it becomes difficult for the receiver to understand the instant at which the byte has been transmitted. To help the receiver, the data bytes starts and stop bits are used along with each data bytes. The start bit is always 0 and the stop bit is always 1. This is the very important statement here, that the data byte is always placed within the start bit and stop bit. The start bit is always 0 and the stop bit is always 1. When the receiver detects start bit, it will set a timer and begins counting bits as they come in. After n bits, the receiver searches the stop bits, the data bits, and searches for the stop bit. When the stop bit occurs, then after some time delay, the receiver again search for the next start bit. This is the data transmission mode. The ideal time between the two adjacent data bytes is not constant. That means it is not necessary that this ideal time is similar to this ideal time. These ideal times or these delay times may be different depending upon the situation. Now let's see the block diagram of the asynchronous data transmission. Here is a transmitter and receiver block is shown. Between the transmitter and receiver block, a single line is placed or single wire is placed. On this single line, a data can be transmitted by the asynchronous method. We learned that in asynchronous method, the data bits are placed between the start bit and the stop bit. This is the start bit and this is the stop bit. We know that 0 represents start bit and 1 represents stop bit. Between each data bytes or each byte there is a time delay. I hope now you can understand what is meant by asynchronous data transmission and the data transmission method. The advantages of the asynchronous data transmission are the synchronization between transmitter and receiver is not necessary. It is possible to transmit signals from sources having different bit rates. The transmission can commence as soon as the data byte to be transmitted becomes available. This mode of transmission is easy to implement. The entire cost of asynchronous data transmission is low. It is a very effective scheme. Now, let's see the disadvantages of the asynchronous data transmission. The first disadvantage is the additional data bits called start and stop bits are required to be used. It is difficult to determine the sampling instant, hence the timing error can take place. The start stop bits and the idle time makes the asynchronous transmission slow. That means the asynchronous transmission is the slow type of transmission. The application of the asynchronous data transmission is the connection of the keyboard to the computer. That means the connecting wire or the transmission type between the keyboard and the PC is of asynchronous data transmission. Now let's see what is meant by synchronous data transmission. Sorry. Synchronous data transmission is carried out under the control of common master clock. Here is one important difference between the asynchronous data transmission and the synchronous data transmission is that in asynchronous data transmission no synchronization is required, but in synchronous data transmission a synchronization process is required. For that purpose, the synchronous transmission is carried out under the control of common master clock for the synchronization purpose. Here the bits which are being transmitted are synchronous to reference clock. No start and stop bits are used. The data bytes are transmitted as a block in continuous stream of bits. There is interblock idle time which also is filled with idle characters. Here is the format of the data is shown. It is slightly different than the asynchronous data transmission. In asynchronous data transmission, a start and stop bit used and a time delay is present. But in this type of transmission, the data is transferred in the blocks. Okay, and between the two blocks there is some idle time. Okay, in each block there are number of data bytes can be placed with the flags. Let's see the other details of the synchronous transmission. In synchronous data transmission, the receiver operates at exactly the same clock frequency as that of transmitter, as both are synchronized with each other. Flag is the sequence of fixed number of bits which is prefixed to each other or to each block. Flag is useful to identifying the beginning of the data block. That means when the flag occurs, that means the beginning of the transmission occurs. In this type of transmission, data is transferred in the frames. A frame would contain more than 1 bytes. There is no gap between the successive frames. This is the block diagram of the synchronous data transmission. Here is a transmitter and receiver is shown, which is connected with a single data wire or single data line, and the data is transferred in the form of frames. There is no gap between the two blocks of the data. Okay. Now let's see the advantages of the synchronous data transmission. The first advantage is the speed of transmission is much higher than that of asynchronous transmission. Start and stop bits are not required for the transmission. Timing errors are reduced due to synchronization. The disadvantages of the synchronous data transmission are the transmitter and receiver have to operate at the same clock frequency. This requires proper synchronization. The application of the synchronous data transmission is that the transfer of the data between one computer to the other computer. This type of transmission is the example of the synchronous data transmission. Let's see the difference between synchronous data transfer and the asynchronous data transfer. In synchronous data transfer, a data transfer method that sends a continuous stream of data to the receiver using regular timing signals that ensures both transmitter and receiver are synchronized with each other. While in asynchronous data transfer, a data transfer method that sends data from transmitter to receiver with parity bits, starts and stop bits in uneven intervals. This is the main difference between these two types of transfer. That is, in asynchronous data transfer, the data is transferred with the start and stop bits. Sometimes a parity bits are also included in asynchronous data transfer with uneven intervals. That means in different time intervals. But in synchronous data transfer, the transmitter and the receiver both are synchronized with each other. That means they have the same clock frequency, and the data is transferred in the form of frames. Next, in synchronous data transfer, the sender and receiver operate on the same clock frequency, while in asynchronous data transfer, the sender and receiver operates on different clock frequencies. In the synchronous data transfer is the faster process, while the asynchronous data transfer is the slower process. In synchronous data transfer, there is no overhead of the extra start and stop bits, but in asynchronous data transfer, it uses start and stop bits. In synchronous data transfer, there are no gaps between the data flows as a continuous stream. But in asynchronous data transfer, there can be gaps between data. In synchronous data transfer, it uses constant time interval, but in asynchronous data transfer, it uses random or irregular time intervals or the different time intervals. In asynchronous data transfer, for example, it is used in chat rooms and video conferencing, and in asynchronous data transfer, it is used in emails. That means the example of the synchronous data transfer is chat rooms and video conferencing, and the example of asynchronous data transfer is emails. I hope you all understand the parallel data transmission and the serial data transmission. Also, the asynchronous data transmission and the synchronous data transmission, and the basic difference between the synchronous and asynchronous data transmission. Thank you.